So yes, the institutions are here. Is that anything else? Are we all set?
It's done.
Appreciate everybody coming out. Very excited to be chatting with you all today. I'm Brian Raimondi, as Juliana said. I head up institutional partnerships at Bitwise. We work very closely with the Solana team. Very excited to be chatting here with my friend Avi today. Avi, please take a moment to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Avi. I'm here from Singapore. DBS is Southeast Asia's largest bank. We're the third largest private bank in Asia, and we're the second most profitable bank in the world. The 21st largest bank globally. And we've been doing this since 2020. So very excited to talk a bit more about what we've been doing and how it's been going for us.
Absolutely. So I guess we would start with what's it been like to be working within a large global bank, one of the largest banks across Asia, in digital assets over the past 5 years. We've had some highs and some lows as an industry, and
yes.
you all have stuck it through and seen an incredible amount of success. So maybe just walk us through that journey a little bit.
Yeah, we started talking about it in 2018. The reason we started talking about it was threefold. The first one was because we thought tokenization was going to kick off much faster than it has. Secondly, we saw demand from our private banking customers who wanted to buy into crypto, but they wanted to do it through a safe platform for the amounts that they were looking to place. And thirdly, we are a very data-driven bank, so we saw outflows to the exchanges, and we wanted to bring that back in-house. And that's how our discussion started on building our own exchange. We built our own custody first, which launched in August of 2020, and then the exchange at the end of 2020. And we started very small with Bitcoin, ETH, Bitcoin Cash, and XRP. And we built from there. We launched structured notes and options in 2024. We tokenized those in 2025, and we distribute them through real-world asset license players within Singapore now, but we're looking to expand that. That's what we do on the trading side. On the banking side, we've also been supporting the ecosystem since 2020. Singapore came out with the PSA license, and we started providing services to those that were licensed in Singapore, and now we bank most of the big players within the digital asset ecosystem that have presence in Asia. And then on the innovation side, first project we did was 2016. It was called Project Ubin on payments. And from there, we built out commercially viable use cases. And that's why I said we're the second most profitable bank in the world. We focus on use cases which are commercially viable, demand from our clients and something that we can really scale. So that we started with Ubin, and now we've got tokenized deposits, purpose-bound money. When you go to Singapore and you get your payments done via our Payla app, the rewards are blockchain-based. We just announced with JP Morgan that we will look at the framework for interoperability between tokenized deposits, us and them, and we do many more initiatives. We also work on tokenization of financial markets. So as I said, we tokenized our notes on public chain, but we're looking to tokenize many more projects, again with a focus on scale and on demand, not so much on supply one by one, really looking at where the demand is. Maybe one more announcement we did recently is that we announced that we will partner with Franklin Templeton and Ripple to allow RLUSD and SG Benji, the Singapore version of Benji, to be traded on the exchange, but also look at how we can do repos with that, how we can use it as collateral for trading, and so on. So those are a few of the things that we've done over the past years.
So Bitwise has a slide that shows institutional adoption across all the banks globally. And there's little box ticks for each one that as new products come online, we have to create new categories consistently for AV and DBS. So a testament to all the work you guys do in the space.
I didn't even answer your question of the industry, and now I realize I said everything that we do. And then you said how? I said,
it was perfect.
I started in this role on the 1st of November 2022, which wasn't a great time. Nothing going on that day. Something else happened a week later. Yeah. So it was very interesting. But what I think was very interesting about it was while it was obviously not fantastic to happen, that's the least to say, It also gives some sort of a reset, and we can work with a lot more partners to look at how can we reshape the way things are run. And during the quiet time in 2023, 2024, we could really work out what does the next level of digital assets look like, and we did that very diligently behind the scenes. And I'm very proud of those that we worked with and how far they've come since that time. So we weren't resting on our laurels. We were just not. It was just not as publicized back then as it is right now.
Bear markets are for building.
Yeah,
after all.
and we did the same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
excellent. So over the past 2 years, things have been a little bit more front and center in terms of institutional adoption. This term that, running institutional at Bitwise for 5 years, you go to panels like this, you hear these talks, and institutional adoption gets thrown around like hopium, for lack of a better term. Wasn't really there. Today, it's tangible. You could feel it sort of everywhere you go. It's in the headlines, whether it's sovereign adoption right here in the UAE, wirehouses adopting products from asset managers like Bitwise, corporate participation, which we're talking about here today as well. Kind of the list goes on. So enter Solana, and it does feel like with the inception of the ETF, read ticker BSOL. Everybody, if you want to pull that one up at some point today. We are shameless plug. We're really starting to see Solana's moment just kind of come to the forefront. So how is DBS approaching that? How are you thinking about that? 3-part question, and our clients are asking about that.
So institutions coming in, you're right. In 2022, when people said we have mostly institutional clients, my question was who? Because I'm part of the financial institutions group, and I was like, the vast majority of the ones that we service are not actively participating because we speak to them. So who is it then? And it was most of the time we're digital asset native institutional investors. Fast forward, when you looked at the ETF inflows in Bitcoin to begin with, we looked at the makeup of the investors, and you could really see that already more than half of those were traditional institutional players. You could at the same time see more questions. So for example, when we started launching our notes, you could see a lot more demand from private banks, from more the traditional side.
Hedge funds.
Yes, but not limited to hedge funds.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I'll speak a bit more about that. You could really see the more traditional side come in with interest into what is the asset class, how can we deal with it, and the ETFs were a big point in that. And fast forward to now, 10th of October was not a great day, but what you could see was a difference between those that had ETFs versus those that didn't. The difference was really helped to stabilize it, because the outflows from the ETFs weren't as big. Wow.
Stable hands.
Stable hands. And you can see that now with some of the other coins coming in as well, where you will see the same trends come in. My God, something went into my throat.
No doubt. One thing I would add, just in terms of what we're seeing at Bitwise, and I think there's been a marked difference in sort of like the crypto Twitter sphere versus the institutional adoption, the wirehouses continuing to work on their IDD, their ODD. Like we've seen like 4 approvals from large US/global banks in the past 3 weeks that do not care if the price of Bitcoin goes down 15%. Like this is something, like they've made a decision, they're here, they're not going anywhere. And it's sort of like they're gung-ho in a way. Charles Schwab is investing, Franklin Templeton obviously leaning in via your partnership. It's nonstop right now. It's kind of all we can do to keep up with it. And it's not impacted by a small hiccup in the market.
Yeah,
I agree.
You could really see the difference. Also, the volumes on CME, open interest on CME overtook at one point in 2024. So you could really see the difference coming in. And so you see it now as well. And on your question on client demand, yes, on the exchange we service a private bank, institutional investors, as well as B2B2C. With the B2B2C, what you could see was there was a lot more demand for Solana, for example. Mm-hmm. It was actually the first one that came up as one of the coins that they wanted to see more of, and that people wanted to be more active in. And the way we think about it, I'll say later, because I know there's a question on that.
We didn't plan anything. Actually, I had a set of questions that I wanted to ask Avi, and we were on the way over here in a car, and she just completely ripped them all out. Just going off the cuff here. One thing I think it's interesting to talk about, family offices have really led the way from an institutional standpoint. I think, whether it's here in Abu Dhabi, whether it's in Singapore, whether it's in the U.S., they've been great at sort of accelerating the I think the education and ultimately the adoption. If I'm a family office, I'm not yet, I hope to be at some point, who already owns Bitcoin and, dare I say, Ethereum, why am I going to think about adding Solana? How does that differentiate my portfolio versus just upsizing my existing allocations and having to learn about this new chain that's just come on to sort of financialization rails?
We can talk about family offices, and we can talk about then the longer tail of the private bank, right? So the way that I'll first talk about how they've been investing. So what you could really see in 23, 24 was people were accumulating. Mm-hmm. So people were accumulating. Trading was far less. They were holding and seeing what was happening. This year, you can see a lot more trading happening. And the way we discuss it, indeed, many start with Bitcoin. And then there is a lot more interest in what are the alternative altcoins that they could look at. And then you look at market cap, you look at activity, look at the whole ecosystem, and we do a lot of education on that. There are webinars on a quarterly basis, but also when there's any questions, people can just come in. So how would you allocate? As we spoke about, the way we would describe it is Bitcoin is Bitcoin, it's its own category, but then you've got Ethereum, Solana, and you can basically think about it as Apple versus Microsoft, or just two different technologies, but both being able to serve a wide need. And I mean, in crypto, like we have to think a bit more long term. Yes. So the way the team is building it and trying to build out the Solana ecosystem is encouraging.
That's great. How do we feel about? I guess we have a minute and a half left here, so we can go straight to the lightning round.
Okay.
If Solana were a traditional asset, what would it be?
Like I said, Microsoft or Apple, right?
Yeah.
You choose the one that you want to be.
Yeah. No doubt. Maybe quickly, what's the sentiment specifically from Asian clients right now? I feel like they're always a little bit ahead of the curve.
I think they're still very active, still very much looking at it. And what you see, interestingly, is that clients. It's a lot of clients that traditionally didn't make their money in digital assets. So in the past, you might have had people who are very familiar in crypto and they keep doing it, or they have a self-interest. But now you see it as part of the allocation of the portfolio, just another alternative asset.
Yeah, as it should be.
Yeah.
What do you tell a skeptical CIO, whether it's crypto, Solana, digital assets in general, and if you have 20 seconds?
Well, we were joking now. I said, you have to do your own research, of course. But many people ask, when is it a good time to come in? And I think any time is good when you think long term. So that's what I usually say.
Dollar cost average is
dollar cost average.
Yeah, when in doubt, zoom out.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Avi. Thanks, everybody.